Witch in Charm's Way, a cozy mystery audiobook, written and narrated by R.K. Dreaming. Part 43. The astonished expression on Oberon's face confirmed it. He knew I was turning into a vampire. He knew that I shouldn't be out here in the sun. He had known all along. And then the second thing that I had known deep inside me hit me like a bolt out of the blue. This was why I thought he was innocent. This was why I trusted him. All along, something inside me must have known that he knew about me, and that he had kept my secret anyway. No wonder I trusted him. My throat tightened, and I had to swallow hard to get rid of the lump in it. I reached out to take hold of Oberon's hand. I put mine on top of his. "Thank you, Oberon," I said quietly. He didn't reply. He turned back around and continued to stare at the sea. He looked so sad. It hurt me to see him that way. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" I asked him. "It's none of my business," he said. Tears were threatening again. I was so emotional these days. I had to swallow hard and gulp them down before I could speak again. "How long have you known about me?" I asked him. He shrugged. "I'm not sure. Maybe from the first day I met you." I felt a little chilled at this. My mouth went dry. "How?" I asked huskily. He looked at me with concern. "You don't need to worry," he said. "I don't think anyone else would have guessed, not even a vampire. I think I knew because sometimes I have this instinct. I think it's because I'm a dampire. We're supposed to have special powers, not that I've ever been able to figure out what mine are supposed to be." "Did you tell anyone?" I asked in a small voice. He shook his head. "Don't worry. Your secret is safe with me. It's nobody's business but yours." And then he looked at me sharply. "You can't tell anyone, you know. Nobody at all." I nodded and gave him a weak smile. "Tell me about it." I had meant it as a joke, but his brow was furrowed in seriousness. "You don't understand," he said in a low and intense voice. "If they find out what you are, they'll hunt you to the ends of the earth. They won't ask questions about whether it's right or wrong. They'll kill you right away." I nodded. "I know." "You don't know," he said. "Even if you managed to escape to the magic world, they would hunt you down there. Or the native magic wilders would. I'm pretty sure they've heard the prophecy of Nosferatu as well. Even we vampires are scared of it." "What?" I asked in shock. He nodded his head. "It's true. Even vampires. You can't tell anyone, not even my kind, our kind." He had kept his voice very low as he said all of this, intent on protecting my secret even now. "It's okay," I said to him. "There's no one around to hear us. I took a look as I walked down." He looked around us. "The cats," he said. I looked around too, surprised that he had remarked on this. The cats were all around us, but they weren't paying us much attention. My eyes landed on a completely black one. I glared at him. It was Captain Villain, spread out atop a sand dune not too far away, his ears pricked up, listening to us. I knew he was awake because one eye was slightly open, revealing a flash of green. "You cheeky git," I said to him. "Where have you been all day?" "Doing what cats do best," he purred into my mind. He lifted his face towards the sun. "Making the most of the good life. And anyway, I can't hold your hand through everything, can I? That's Captain Villain, I told Oberon. I think we don't need to worry about eavesdropping cats. He would have warned us if we did. Oberon looked curiously at Captain Villain, and to my surprise he nodded at the cat, as if in greeting. A smug look came onto Captain Villain's face. "Oh, I like him," he said. "He's a keeper." I turned back to Oberon. "What do you think about the whole Nosferatu thing?" He shrugged. "I think it's scary. It's like the chaos and the scourge. Nosferatu is one of the few evil powers prophesied to be capable of destroying the world. Anyone would find that scary, wouldn't they?" "Do all vampires find it scary?" I asked. This idea astonished me. I had always thought that vampires wanted the prophecy to come true. After all, it would mean one of their own kind taking over the world. "Not all," said Oberon. "Some vampires are exactly like you'd think. They want it to come true." He snorted. "The idiots. As if a witch or wizard that powerful would care about them. But most fear the idea of Nosferatu. That's why they kill baby vampires." "What?" I said, astonished. But I thought vampires cherished their own bloodkin. It makes for a more loyal brood, or whatever." He laughed. "It's complicated. Because vampires are supposed to have special powers, most vampires worry that they might be born with wand magic, so they kill baby vampires to guard against the legend coming true. Why do you think there are so few of us vampires around? We're rare, but there should still be more of us." I let out a low whistle. "I can't believe it," I said. It was weird to think that vampires had their own legends and myths and prophecies to worry about. "What about your dad?" I asked. "He let you live?" Oberon shrugged. "My dad is an enigma, even to me. I think he hoped I'd be more special than I turned out to be." I didn't know what to say. "You can't even tell your family about what happened to you," he warned me quietly. "Not all of them," I said. He looked at me sharply. "Not any of them." I was grateful to him for looking out for me. It was a strange thing. He was a stranger in so many ways. I nodded. "I know about the stigma against vampires. I used to have it myself." I grimaced. "Sorry," I added. "You have no idea," he said. "I've spent my whole life as a vampire. You haven't. You think you understand from the outside how prejudiced people are against vampires, but you don't know until you're on the inside, until they look at you and they know what you are and you see it in their eyes. It never goes away, no matter how long you've known them, no matter how much trust you think you've built. It never goes away." I wanted to hug him. He sounded so sad. "It turns out that they were right all along in this case," he said quietly. He stood up abruptly. I looked at him in surprise. "Where are you going?" "It's time to go and hand myself in, don't you think?" he said wryly. "What are you talking about?" I asked in confusion. "It wasn't my dad who did it," he said. "I know that the other guys want to protect me, so they put the blame on my dad, but I can't let that happen, no matter how awful he is. If Chief Hardwick and his people go charging into the nest to get him, people are going to die. I can't let that happen." "They didn't say it was your dad," I told him gently. "They said it was you." A hurt look came onto his face, but he nodded as if this too was something he had to accept, the betrayal by his friends. "Good," he said. We were stupid to try and hide it in the first place. But Oberon, I protested, they were lying, weren't they? It wasn't you. It couldn't have been you. He gave a short laugh. You're a good friend, Esme. I don't even know you really, but you are. You didn't do it, I said to him. I did, he said. It was me. I was a coward, or I would have handed myself in that first night. I don't even remember putting her in your garden. I'm so sorry about that. I must have been out of my mind. I've been meaning to come forward if Agent Constantine started looking at you. I should have come forward anyway. It's just that I didn't mean to do it. I don't even remember it. It didn't feel real, so I just couldn't make myself walk into the police station. I guess it's taken me this long to come to terms with it. What are you talking about? I said to him. What do you mean that you don't remember it? He sighed deeply, looking tortured. It doesn't matter anymore. I put my arm out to stop him from walking away. It does matter. Tell me what you remember, I said. He shook his head. That security guard, Willie, was using his allure on Lily. I got really angry. It was disgusting. How dare he? And Lily's wand was broken. She couldn't stop him. So I hit him. And then it got out of hand so fast. He was using his hunger on me and he was going to kill me. I knew it. He's an ex-con. He's killed like that before. My dad should never have let him work at the club. Anyway, I panicked, and I don't remember the rest. They said that you killed him, I said quietly. He nodded. That's what they said to me too, that I hit him so hard that he died. Only I don't remember it. That was self-defense, I said. He was going to kill you. You only did that to stop him. But not the rest, he ground out angrily. They said I went mad. They said that I attacked Lily, that she was scared about what I'd done and she didn't want to cover it up. But I wanted to cover it up. I buried Willie in the cement. I must have lost it, and I killed her. His voice broke. I killed her, he choked out. Tears were pouring down his cheeks now. He hadn't cried in all that time, but now it was like a dam had broken loose. He looked horrified at this and wiped them away angrily with his forearm. You didn't kill her, I said firmly, so sure now, and hoping desperately that it was true. You can't have, and I can prove it. Hi, you've reached the end. Comment the code words. What she did was hilarious and horrid. To confuse everyone who hasn't reached this part of the story yet. And thanks for playing along.